Wassail, beautiful people. I have to have a bit of water before I even begin. So, Happy New Year. Apologies for yesterday. The video crashed out and then it wouldn't stop. There's no button to stop it. Once the feed comes back on, it gets caught in a loop and it won't let you back in. So I had to just delete the whole video, even though there were some lovely messages there. So, Wassail, Mackay, Wassail, Nicola Codling, Happy New Year. Wassail, Kathy, Happy New Year. Wassail, Suze, cheers, Happy New Year. Wassail, Penelope, Happy New Year. So excited that it's a new year. I've been very thrilled about the idea of it becoming 2022. Wassail, Charlie Douglas, Happy New Year. Wassail, Henny Van Tongaloo, Happy New Year to you. Wassail, Joyce, Wassail, Jennifer, Happy New Year to you both. So, yesterday, everything crashed out, and when I put it all back on, it got caught in a loop and it wouldn't continue the feed. But there's also no button to end it in YouTube, so I had to delete the whole thing. Otherwise, I read online that it just stays on a live feed for about a year. Yeah, there's a great energy coming for 2022. And so, Wassail Ken Diamond, Wassail the Star Kindler. So yeah, there's great energy, but I thought instead of doing repeating what I did, because I will repeat it and I will do the other signs, I think today, because there'll be a lot of people sending New Year messages all over the world now, so we could have a dodgy connection, but I'm saying magic hold. I thought we would just do an energy of what's the new year got in store. No, it didn't. It's not that it never uploaded. It had to be deleted or it wouldn't stop being a live feed, Kathy. It just literally got stuck forever showing nothing that would have gone on for days. And so it had to be just deleted. And do you know what? That's cool too. There was a little message anyone was here for, got some private information about. And it was beautiful stories. But we'll do it again and we'll get different energies for a different crowd of people. So, Wassail Jennifer, Wassail Christina, Wassail Joyful Living Love. So, there's lots of things going on. I want to say, most importantly, I've taken, and we were talking about it in that live reading. I'm working at the moment with the energy of Jupiter and Pluto. Jupiter and Neptune, because they're both in rulership in Pisces now. And they really are the energy of the wish card that's coming in as a frequency. And we need to kind of work with them as a kind of time hopping, dimensional hopping energy to bring us every night that we go to bed. We go into the astral and we thank them for moving us one dimension, one step closer to certain things which are our dreams in life. And then we bring them back down, but we enter, when we're brought back by the gods, the spirits, we're brought back into a different dimension. Most things will look the same, but you're one dimension closer to your dreams, your wishes. So have I missed some people out? Sorry. I can see Wassail Upton. Who else have we got that I've missed? Wassail Jena Tarot. I love the name Jena Tarot. It just is a great name, Jessica. I like it. Wassail Dawn Hewers. Who else have I got? Okay, that's cool. So, in the reading, there was a beautiful energy that was given that was all about Clover. Clover in the Lenormand deck is kind of the energy. Wassail Kelly Rose, Wassail Anza, Wassail Reenie's Clips, Wassail Pamela Alexander. That felt like a tune. Pamela Alexander. It was nice. Wassail Amber Sandrini, Wassail Yeti Girl. So stop it. So this Clover is like a living Wassail Wild Wolf Woman. Wassail White Wolfie. So this Clover, right? I can't look. Is like an organism that is a neural network of the astral and all the different dimensions. So you go to bed at night, you thank Neptune, you thank Jupiter for moving you, as I said, one step, one dimension, one energy closer to your dreams. And then when you leave and go into the astral, you come out of one clover flower, that you will be delivered back into another clover flower. And although it's the same network, the same plant in the same world, you will now be seeing the world from a different perspective, because that flower might be a little bit further uphill or just over there. And I thought it was a lovely idea, and I really didn't want to lose that. So, Wassail Divine Virgo Empress, ba-da-da-dee. Wassail Ariel. Who else have we got? Wassail Jennifer. I think I said hello, Jennifer. So we're going to do some readings about the energies that are coming along, because for tomorrow, let's pretend we all live in GMT. So at 11-ish p.m. tomorrow, there's a stellium forming in Capricorn, and it involves the sun. Well, the moon just nips in. Then you've got the sun. Then you've got Venus. Then you've got Pluto. And then you've got Mercury. So that's 5. But on top of that, you've also got Pholus, Quar. Oh, and another one that I can't remember. Let me just look. We want to get this right. Who in the asteroids? Juno, Pholus and Quar. So that's 8. 8 energies in Capricorn. So, Wassail Misery Me Healings. Hello, Reem. So we've got 8 frequencies. Now, I think the one I would like to look at first of all in that energy frequency is actually Pholus. And after all, Wassail. Oh, sorry, someone I've already said hello to. So what I would like to do is look at Pholus, who is the energy of, well, the law of unintended consequences. It's a little bit more than that, but he's going into a conjunction with Quar, which is the Tongva Native American god of creation, and that's the god that sings existence into life. It's a fabulous story, and I feel like because it's on the 1st of January 2022, I feel like there's something really magical about an 8-planet stellium taking place for 8 for change, but also particularly I'm fascinated by this energy of Pholus. So the law of unintended consequences, things happening that are out of the control of anybody, that's to do with the creation of new energies from Kawar, a new cosmic existence. So I think I will look at that. Yes, I know, but I'm looking I'm looking at the stellium area first. It's even more complicated, Penelope, when you go forwards. There's so many things. There's a lot. Uranus has got a lot to do. It's Gaia has got a lot to do with the frequencies coming up, but they're for another reading. And I'm just going to say, before anybody else puts it in, you can donate to me via PayPal me at Rustling Around. And even if you have only got pennies that you can send or a few cents, if you can do it, it's such a beautiful energy to start a new year with a frequency of incoming abundance that would be splendid. So that's just a little plea. If you can't, you can't. So I'm going to ask Kawar and Pholus. Kawar's at 6, Pholus is at 5. Degrees of Capricorn. Thank you, Penelope. There's the abundance address. PayPal me a Rustling Around. Look, 1222 for Kathy. 222 for 222. And that's 2022. So that was a nice little energy. So let's have Quar. Ooh, I'm a Quar drinker. I'll tell you what I had as a song earlier. At last. As the energy of reaching this point. Quar. Coyote. Divine detours. I hate divine detours. Wassail, bless you by the best. Wassail, shala. Oh, that was interesting. The card of the child turned, looked at me, and then turned back and went inside the deck again. Qua. Qua. Oh my God, ants. There's thousands of them, and they're a law of unintended consequences. I'm going to have to put my flip-flops on just so that they're not... I think they're going for the coconut oil on my feet. But there was never... I tell you, every day there's more and more ants. What I should have brought up here was my Palo Santo oil, because that seems to get them to go away. There's masses of them. Can't even work out where they're coming from, but it's over there somewhere. Ghost dance. Ah, look, Kathy, you predicted the cards. It's 12:22. Yeah, Reem, I love coconut oil on my feet. I'm actually using it at the moment with Palo Santo oil. Today I didn't, but I'm mixing it at night before bed with Palo Santo oil and then a lovely one called Deep Blue, which has got kind of eucalyptus and things in it. It's very nice. So, yeah, so 12:22. That was the prediction from Kathy. I want another card on that. Get off me ankles, you sausages. There's so much. It's an invasion. Come on, Qua. I know what that means now. I couldn't see the energy in it. I was staring and staring and staring, and I couldn't see it. But now I get it. And with this, it makes perfect sense. So, Qua. What's the energy that Kawar's bringing? Actually, you have to think of Kwa as being a Native American Tongva god of creation frequency. And it's talking about there's an energy around at the moment. This is a card of ancestors. This is detouring, taking the ancestors away so that we find our own place in Earth. It's an energy frequency. I don't know whether anyone else has been picking it up, but if you have like a family member, like my parents and my brother and my nan are often around, and at the moment they're not. And I've been talking with other people who have also been experiencing this and saying that their closest known relative in spirit, who's usually there for them, just isn't there. Yeah, they do. Yes, Wassail April, they do have a queen energy, but I'm going to give them the frequency that I am the queen, and I say, go away, leave, ants. The thing is, I don't want them around me, because if I swing around doing cards, I'm going to squash them, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to ring the bell. Maybe that might give them a... Come on, you don't like that? It's like we need 12 for a new year. It's not bothering them. I lost count. It's not bothering them. I actually think if they're a test, they are very much, because I haven't had flies for a while. So it does very much feel like they're a test. At least I've cleared them from here so that I can put my feet down. 12 is the 5 new rings. Wassail needs 13. Wassail Bev 8112. So let's get a little bit of information on Core. So yes, is anybody else? Sorry, I got completely sidetracked, which is so easy. Maybe they're the ancestors. They're the anthill mob, that's for sure. There's less of them now. They've moved. They're coming across the bridge that leads to this area. So this ancestors, Kawa, is coming in, I feel, as a frequency. Wassail moon wolf, wassail gem bootsy. Wassail arg boots. I feel like Kawa is being a frequency of us. It's almost like singing directly into us, bringing the new song lines to us. And it's like we have to find our place in the world. We have to pop our own bubble of reality. And there's no ancestors here right now to help you. They're around. They are around, but they're not involved in our journey. This is a new energy being sung into existence by Kawa. So what have you got to say, please? Wassail Kim J. That one's gone down there. A bit of a long way away. A bit of a long way away. Oh, look. Let's see what this one is. This one's got water damage. Oh, and it is water. It's got like a blurring energy through where it's got damp at some point. So we've got emotional truths and life's destined path, North Node. Water is 13. It's Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces frequency. So emotional truths. So emotional truths are within us. They're within our soul. Sorry, it's always going to make me laugh. Only 2 likes. What? I think there's 46. Oh, looky. She's been repainted now. I'm taking away the word black sheep. Dark Moon Lilith. Emotional truths. I feel like these are emotional. Oh, bingo. So these are real emotional truths that belong to you, hidden, just like the emotional truths of Dark Moon Lilith is hidden from the world. It's now time to return to our truth. And this is why Kwa and the ancestors are stepping backwards. They're detouring so that we can find our emotional truths, our destiny. And this is shifting on the 19th. 19th of January, which is also Penelope, as you know, when Gaia, Uranus, turns stationary direct. And the nodes will shift from Gemini, which is where Dark Moon Lilith is at the moment, into Taurus and Scorpio. So this will become a new ability to fix our focus into an earth frequency. And this is cardinal. We're looking at an area with this stellium in cardinal Capricorn earth energy. Yeah, I don't know about an intersection. I understand what you're saying. I've just been getting this energy where, I mean, I know you've just gone somewhere to see some ancestors' property. I think it's like not necessarily we're crossing paths, but they're almost inviting us to be somewhere that is a crossroads, but they're not going to tell you which pathway to take at the crossroads because they've done it. It's something like that. So ancestors are around us as protection, but they're not acting as our guides. They're protectors at the moment. It's like we have to find our own inner compass as the guide, as our own guide. We have to find a way through. Because look, this is Jupiter in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces. Neptune is old ancestral fogging energies, old songlines, things that you inherit. And Jupiter's about burning off the fog. Also, we'll get to it, but actually, in conjunction at the moment with Neptune is Sappho. And so there's something about the changing in the way in which we speak about our ancestors, or maybe in the which our ancestors speak to us. But so we're stepping away and we're being given the chance to find our dreams and not inherent dreams. It's a real moment of us appreciating ourselves. And I would say another of the energies that I'm picking up very strongly is this need to really truly step out of blaming another or feeling blamed yourself for another's journey. This is the moment Kawa offers you the chance to almost compose your own songline that becomes part of the frequency of the world. That's what I would say. Wassail Felicia. So let's go into Pholos. Follow us. Oh, we might have a bit of noise now. But if we do, I'll just pull the microphone a bit nearer. It is a working farm. So follow us. Oh, look, ants, we've had a word earlier. Sod off. Ooh, now you see, follows, law of unintended consequences. We've got stand still. Pause. As this stellium, is this New Year? You see, I'm getting this as a frequency of don't stand still. Don't stand still, beloved. It's like this is the energy of your ancestors talking to you. Do not stand still in your old frequency. Change it. Oh, I'm doing them the wrong way around. You can't do your normal meditative practices. Standing still will not shift your energy into 2022. They are calling you beloved, the ghost ancestors, and your beloved destiny. Beloved, they're talking to you. We wish to raise your heart, but you have to do it. We just wish you the best intentions moving forward. They're not gone forever. They're just, it's a moment when you're, oh, fabulous. You went to visit your great aunts. So you have to change. We have to change. We have to transform. And this is coming across as that energy of a dream portal, of the ancestral access point to the astral that we all have. So let's get 3 of these on Follis. The Follis frequencies don't stand still because there's a law of unintended consequences coming. You will be left behind if you don't move forward. You've got to accept raising the energy of your love for yourself, really, and that's what will get you to move. Right, we've got one down there. Second one, we need one more. One more card. Not having that one. Just because it got stuck in the hand. One more card for Follis. There it is. Moon in Leo. So, let's have a little look. It's like the noise of the old year is being smashed apart. So look, tension, opposition. I think there is an opposition. Give me a little moment. Give me a little moment. Something was in opposition that I noticed. But it'll take me a moment to dig through it. It was something on 5s or something. Mm-hmm. Oh, hang on. You see, Follis was on 5 degrees, but there's nothing else on 5 degrees. There was something I seem to recall that was in opposition. Let's not worry about it for the moment. So we could lose a whole day with me looking at all those numbers. What's going on with you people? Wassail Clarity, Wassail Bren, Wassail Zara, Wassail Darkfire Dragon 2013. So opposition, tension, the potential to seek And then we have emotional heat and moon in Leo. I feel like because moon in Leo is to do with like an explosion in creativity, but it's coming with the energy of house 8. This feels like this is one path that you could choose. And there is something, it still comes out, but this feels like a much more uncomfortable frequency to pass through than the energy that was coming with Qua, connecting with our emotional truth. So the unintended consequences of staying still is to feel a lot of a greater energy of tension within our life moving on as the year starts. Instead of there being this kind of destiny, your own destiny, this is, you know, your ancestors are lifting you up, but this is like your emotions being put on fire, being boiled, being scalded. It's a much less comfortable frequency. And the sweat lodge, once you eventually get there, once you eventually decide to stop standing still and move to your own emotional truth, then you will get your moon in Leo. You will get your moment of sort of unlocking an esoteric thread that will upgrade your personality, your ego, your emotions, but to bring you to a new kind of sense of emotional creativity and, God, come on, ants, emotional creativity, but also sort of a new emotional language within you, something new. Okay, so I want to look at what is the point of the conjunction, because that's the two energies they're bringing in. Hummingbirds arriving. Oh, I can see it. Which one is it? Oh, it's just dived down again. It's bringing power. It's a thunderous, strong energy connected to what, though? What is this energy connected to? It's connected to our fate, and it's connected to our karma, but it's also connected to protection. But the main frequency I'm getting is a rushing forwards of a very powerful frequency created by Kawar and Follis to renew, but in unintended ways. That's this frequency. So anything else? Thunder Jaguar, Thunder Jaguar, Thunder Jaguar, Thunder Jaguar. It was 3333 then, as I just looked up at the clock. Wassail Nadia. So, oh, look, this is big times. It's thunder and lightning, very, very frightening me. Galileo, 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 Figaro, Figaro. Thunder and lightning. Shedding, changing, transforming. Also, this is coming across as resurrection frequency. We've got new energy that comes through at the moment to do with Ophiuchus and Asclepius and corn. Sorry, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. it's just interesting to observe that there's a motion forwards, a series of steps that can be made, but it's definitely to do with some kind of energy. I don't want to call it. Will you do the fandango? Thunderbolt and lightning. Thunderbolt and lightning, ants, bugger off. This is that energy of a bolt from the blue. This is Ophiuchus. Snake, thunder and lightning, blue. The bolt from the blue coming in. The transformative energy. This is the frequency very much of closing off the old year. The old year ending, and from within the old, as the old turns away to make way for the new, this energy comes in, this bolt from the blue, this Ophiuchus frequency. And Ophiuchus, so look, Asclepius was the son of Apollo. Complicated story. Apollo killed his mother, and he didn't really want to bring up the child, so he gave the child to his adopted son Chiron, who we know, the wounded healer, the centaur. And so Chiron brings Asclepius up to be a healer. And when Asclepius was very young, he did something that rescued the frequency of a snake that was in trouble. And the snake then spent its life sticking its tongue inside Asclepius's ears to clean them out, they say. But it was also whispering into his ear, because snakes in ancient Greek represent energy, divine sacred wisdom, but also resurrection frequency. And Asclepius, who was the god of medicine, during his lifetime, he was able to resurrect the dead, so no one needed to die. And he is the bearer of the snake. So when you see Ophiuchus, it's the snake bearer in astrology. And so he's holding the snake to bring it forwards into the world. And it's about bringing forwards life force. You know what some people might call Kundalini, that I call the cosmic serpent and the earth serpent, because there are two serpents on this card, not just one. And they join in the heart to create a new frequency. And it is a frequency of abundance, of things maturing and growing and fruiting and bringing forth new life. So there's this energy that this year is really bringing a kind of a resurrection frequency, is what I would say. It's not a word I like to use very often, but it's definitely associated with Asclepius and Ophiuchus. So let's get some information on that from the Alchemy of Astrology. Oh. We've got Vesta, Venus and Rot. But I like Vesta and Venus. This has got something to do with a transformation of Venus frequency from Pluto to Mars, because there's a triple conjunction coming up in 2022, 6th or the 7th of March, when Pluto, Mars, and Venus join together. Because Mars, kind of, I get this energy of Mars turning up at the conjunction point. Now, remember when I did the reading with Cindy, it was all about Neptune tricking Venus and Pluto, and how Venus was in love with Hades, or Persephone was Venus was in love with Hades, and she wasn't getting what she wanted. But this is like Mars turns back up and goes, woo, remember me? And she's like, I really do. Bye, Hades. There's that kind of energy coming in with this triple conjunction. Anyway, let's find out a little bit more why we've got decompose. What's being decomposed? I've got to put the cards a bit further under because there'll be a wind coming and take them away. Let's get Vesta under there. Let's get Venus under there. Let's get the Rot under there. Oi, oi, oi. Now we've got a big spillage. Ooh. I'm just going to tuck them under there. I don't want to lose any of them. So let's begin with Vesta. I need to know where Vesta is. Oh, that wind nearly had them cards away. Vesta, 24 degrees of Sagittarius. Feels a little bit like Vesta's got the energy of the fire, of the mutable fire, but almost like it's Vesta's got Eros's arrows. That somehow Vesta's a really interesting asteroid. So this is Vesta, and you might notice some interesting words on here. So Vesta is eternal because she's the very last thing that gets extinguished from life. When all life goes, the essence of Vesta is the last thing to go. And then you've got the idea of magnesium. When magnesium burns, because she is the eternal flame, when magnesium burns, oh, look, she's linked to, she's 2828. She's linked to this deliverance of some kind of karmic end. And she is still in Sagittarius, which is part of the month that ends the year, because obviously Capricorn straddles the two. So you've got this inextinguishable fire of magnesium, but you've also got this idea of forever standing in your power. So it's almost like she's the energy that reminds Venus of the power that Mercury was denying her through his mercurial lies. So coming back into her truth. And then what happens? There is good drilling again. I don't know if you can't hear it, you have to let me know and I'll pull the microphone nearer. So there's no sort of human representation of Vesta. Now remember, Vesta has the Vestal Virgins. They were the very last cult that remained in Rome that the Christians couldn't quite get rid of. And so there is this energy of, you go to the flame when you want to know that there's an imminent pregnancy. But by that, I don't just mean a child, but an imminent new abundance coming to you. And the way in which Vesta appeared was as a phallus in the flames. So sometimes Vesta is called the mother phallus. And that's a very interesting concept when it comes with Venus, because it's about the energy of Venus coming into a dark moon Lilith frequency of true power, not a power that's put upon her by others, but her own true power of being both divine feminine and divine masculine. And that's not an energy allowed very often to Venus. So decomposing, changing, and recomposing the energy of Venus through the mother phallus of Vesta. No, not mother phallus, mother phallus, penis. It's almost like if Vesta is the mother phallus, It's almost like self-reproduction. You don't need the sperm or the penis. It's like having a magic within you. I'm not saying to birth a child without somebody, but to bring back worth somehow. Yes, parthenogenesis. So recomposing us, all of us. I don't just mean this is the energy of, this is that beloved frequency that we have to find in ourselves. We have to re-find the frequency to light our own eternal flame, but not in ancestor energy. So then we have aqua regia, dissolves gold. So this is like, it's like destroying the rule book. You have to go. I can't be doing with insects on me today. That was a little tiny black wasp, and you have to keep an eye on them. So this is about dissolving the rule book, dissolving the conformity, dissolving all the parts of you that feel rigid, that feel like they won't change. It's interesting that there's a seed of germination within the womb here, and it just needs to roll out and become new growth in 2022. And then we have, this is what's interesting about this Mars and Venus energy that's coming, that I feel the energy being set up here, as I say, by Pholos, not Thalas, and Kawar. We've got two cards about playful engagement with others. This is partners, universal soul, attraction, erotic entanglements. There is a real frequency of partnerships and eroticism that's coming this year, because we're going to be coming back together. We're not going to be living in such isolation and fear. The energy is very much transforming. So, that's the wrong button then. So there was another frequency. So Eros is in 19 degrees, house 5 as the year starts. Pleasures, magnetism. It's like we're all stand the chance of being hit by the arrow. But as I said earlier, it feels like Eros isn't holding the bow. It feels like Vesta is at the moment. And we've also got, there was another one that I wanted to notice, Sappho, which is the seduction through the voice and music of erotic ideas. And she's in conjunction with Neptune. And then we're moving on to the Monas Hieroglyphicus. This is the secret. This is the energy that we don't yet understand. This is the promise of something sublime, but we can't process it just yet. But for each of us, it's some kind of dream. But I think you have to, oh my goodness, that hummingbird energy of love, heart energy, it's a completely different one. This is a completely red one. And as it's buzzing, it's just like a little tiny ruby flame in amongst the creamy white blossoms. Yes, we do have to look at things differently. Absolutely, Carol. Wassail, Carol. So that's the first little bit of a reading on those two energies, Kawar and Pholos. I want to actually do a couple of others. So I do want to do Sappho and Neptune because I'm curious about that. Just get these all back. Yeah, red hummingbird, passion and love. Yeah, a secret mystery is something, a dream coming true, Carol, because we are in Jupiter in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. The Jupiter in Pisces is the Nine of Cups. It's wish card territory. This is about dreams can come true. It's also interesting for me, Sappho, although shrouded in much mystery herself, because we don't know that much about her, and there are only fragments of her poetry around, Sappho is the only heavenly body named after a real person. So there's something about Neptunian delusion attached to something real. So let's just have a little swing. Let's just pull that down a bit more. That's a much nicer shot with the green. So we've changed the mood. Yes, if you can send me any donations today, in particular, I asked today, even if it's only a few cents or a few pennies or a few whatever your smallest is, it's good to start the year energetically with a sense of incoming abundance. And so it'd be a nice new frequency to start 2022 with. So let's just go back to the other one that I wanted to look at. Is Pallas Athena and Jupiter. Jupiter's obviously at 0 degrees, Pallas Athena's at 16, but Jupiter will get there over the course of this first quarter and a bit of the year. And that's very much the frequency of fathers and daughters in many ways. So many different ways of looking at it as well, because Pallas Athena's mother was pregnant and by Jupiter, but Zeus in the story, under his Greek name. And he heard that her mother's children would cause or would be wiser or would be, there was an energy he was uncomfortable with, so he ate the mother. And then from within inside her, she birthed Athena, and Athena sprung out of Zeus's forehead, fully armed and ready for battle. And obviously, Pallas Athena was part of the stellium last year on the 11th of the 2nd in Aquarius, but also she is the patron protector of Athens, and she has a really complicated energy. So we'll get to that. Let's do a little bit on that. I'm just gonna pull up a little bit of notes about her just so that I can show you what she's all about. So Pallas Athena, she's the goddess of owl vision. She's the protectress of cities. She's the wrangler of the earth serpent. There was a serpent that was part of the frequency of Athens that was fed by representatives of the city. She's also the creatrix of the olive tree. So she went into battle with Poseidon to be the protector of Athens, and he offered a saltwater spring, and people were like, would have been better, mate, if it had been fresh water. And she offered them the first ever olive tree, and so she won. She's the patron of heroic endeavors. She is strategic warfare and just causes. She's relationships with fathers. She's the feast of the bath. She had a festival which was a water cleansing. So she also is believed to have punished Medusa for being raped in her temple by Poseidon and turning her into the monster. But that isn't always a true story. Some say that the Gorgons were born the Gorgons. But she's also about making difficult decisions in relationships. And she's the kind of lawyer within all of us. So she's the protectress, the weaver, because there's a lovely story about Arachne where she has an argument with her about who's the best weaver. And actually she loses. She's such a bad loser that she destroys her and turns her into a spider. And she's about negotiations, intellectual warfare, arts, wisdom, and heroic endeavors. So Pallas Athena, her dad's coming for a visit. He's moving Jupiter towards her. What's she going to have? What's she got for him? So, yeah, there is a sense of a battle of wits. Arachne. I nearly said Ariadne. There's so many. I've been reading so many different names recently. But it was Arachne, and that's why you have arachnids, the spiders. And she destroys... Pallas Athena destroys the wonderful tapestry, the woven piece that Arachne does. Listen, Evita, the point is, when you're a goddess, you don't have to be a good sports person. You just transform your energy. That's you done with. Shut up. Go crawl. Spin yourself a web. That's the interesting thing about gods. I kind of want to go back to that original point of saying that your ancestors are not really helping at the moment. They're stepping aside to let us help ourselves. But what can help you are those jealous gods. You know, saying a little gratitude prayer to Neptune or Jupiter, Pluto, Venus. They're there at the moment, but your ancestors aren't. Yeah, it's Medusa was supposed to have been raped by Poseidon on the temple steps. And Athena is famous for having stopped somebody raping her. And his sperm kind of landed on her thigh, and she threw it on the floor. And from the floor was birthed her adopted son, whose mother was Gaia. Uranus. Very complicated energies, all that Greek stuff. So we're looking at Athena. It starts with the energy of the union, of this moment of Jupiter arriving. And it's like he hasn't seen his daughter for a while. And so they're coming together. And what does she represent? She represents not just this collective truth. Gethen is an interesting energy. Gethen is spurned women in many ways, because in Norse mythology, if you don't die a noble death, you don't go to either of the two heavens of Freya or Odin. And you don't necessarily go to hell. This was always an energy frequency of virgins and spinsters, and I really, really despise that notion. It was, Geffen's realm was believed to be somewhere in Denmark. But this really feels like a kind of a collective upheaval. This is about confronting some untruths to create new truths. That's the energy I'm getting. It's like this, it's like a backlog of like divine rage, very Eris frequency, because it's got Muspelheimr. It's got the energy of Ragnarok. This is Sutra. And he is the fire giant who triggers the end of the world. And so there's something about the power of Pallas Athena having a very strong energy that I feel like Jupiter or Zeus has to take on board. It's kind of like an energy of responsibility, because there's something very irresponsible about the life of Athena, or his attitude towards the life of Athena. So let's give it a go. Zeusy Jupiter. Zeusy Jupiter, what are you saying when you reach conjunction with Pallas Athena? For everyone. Oh, look, it's interesting. So he's coming across as great, big, giant light energy, expansive frequency. But what's really interesting is it's coming with Ran. And Ran is kind of like the daughter that wraps the father around their little finger. There's an energy where Jupiter has to do something that Pallas Athena wants. And she wants this backlog cleared. She wants mistruths busted open. She wants distortions corrected. So let's get some other cards on that. I've got an itch. I don't know if I can reach it. Oi, 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 oi. I feel like on this actually, quite like some Lenormand. I need some simple answers. What does Pallas Athena want from Jupiter? Oh, she wants a spiritual life. She wants a spiritual growth. She wants recognition. She wants to break down the walls that confine her. She wants freedom. And what's Jupiter got for... He's got his heart for her home, her return. He's got a gift for her, baby in a cup. It's like he's welcoming home Pallas Athena. But I want to say like welcoming her home for the first time. Really different energy. Stalk is about returning to nest. Can we have some more information, please, about that? Some more information about that. Right, so we've got Tower. We've got that energy of being isolated, being cut off, almost also that sort of notion of bursting from the forehead. It's like this has never been an issue that's been dealt with. Zeus, Jupiter has never dealt with this, and it's been holding the Athena energy trapped in a tower alone, and it's been gnawing away at him. Oh, this is interesting. There's a Saturn frequency going on in here. There's an energy of like, it's like an inherited frequency. So she's inheriting the energy of restriction and isolation from her grandfather Saturn or Cronus. And this has been gnawing away at everything, at their lives, at their families, at everything, gnawing away because they're not dealing with the truth of something. No one's speaking honestly. No one's delivering Gethen truth. And no one was delivering Baldur light frequency, which is a light truth. They both had these energies, but they weren't meeting to bring those two frequencies together. But it feels like the frequency is different. It feels like the power is with Pallas Athena. I want to say that, you know, that joke of tying your parent, your father around your little finger, being able to run rings around them. But the energy is he's matured. He's in a different frequency. He's got Baldur energy. Baldur is a loving, kind energy. It's like he wants to be caught up with the daughter that he's missed. And then it comes with Flower. Flower is a moment of sublime luck. And I would say this will come at the point at which they reach their actual conjunction, because that's where the energy started, with the frequency of the conjunction. So what's it delivering? I think an Odin and then a couple of other cards. It's all very well to say it's like a reunion, a coming back together, and acceptance. Bringing. They were interesting. They kind of got caught in a little whirl. Yeah, I know Kronos ate his kids, but he didn't eat Jupiter's use, did he? You know, Rhea gave him a stone, and so he ate the stone. And then when Jupiter was old enough, he cut off Cronus's genitals, threw him in the sea, and Aphrodite was born. But he did eat his children. He did eat them because he knew that one of them was going to replace him. Actually, they were that way around. I need to say, it's like barely hanging on to life because it's not open. This frequency is ordinarily about the existence of holding on to life, being alive. But it's like this energy has become really difficult. What's the scammer alert? Yeah, Pamela, they are a tough crowd. They've got some very, very, very dark stories. It's interesting that you're making the little malice to his phallus, but there's also that energy of the mother phallus and Venus being created through, they sometimes say his blood, but it was his genitals thrown in the sea from which he was birthed, which would have had blood in them, obviously. So gripping onto life, re-establishing the journey of A to B, A to B. It's like this has become, I almost want to say, a shadow rainbow. It's got no frequency. It's just literally hanging on for dear life during a frequency. And that's this energy of Athena and Jupiter. And something about the energy coming together reminds us of a kind of partly the Bifrost, the energy of heaven to earth, consciousness to physical, but also the Bifrost being the Hemfereld rune, the rune of the journey home, the journey back to the ancestors. So this notion of the first reading, when we said the ancestors aren't there, the ancestors can return to us at this point where Jupiter meets Athena. Now it makes sense. So that's our little energy. And now I want to do Neptune and Sappho. Neptune and Sappho, Sappho. Oh, card on the floor. Right, whoever it is that has written shit, Wild Wolf Woman, can we just remove them? I'll find them if I can. But you don't come on the channel and write rubbish. Where is it? Can we all have a look for this person and just take them off? Because we don't want that kind of energy in our 2020 year. It's not acceptable. You have to go somewhere else. I can't actually find them. How stuck were they? Let me go right the way down again because I've lost track. Right, where is this person's name? I can't see that name. I don't mind just pausing for a bit, but I don't like to take unnecessary frequencies into a new year. Wassail Henny. I'll sing names that I might not have said while I'm searching. They must be a long way back because I've gone quite a few long distance farness. Long way back. I'm not tall. Have they maybe pulled themselves out? Hello, there was a bit of a bad signal as well then. I can't find them. But if anyone else sees them, write anything silly in whatever, just pull them out. Just remove them because they don't belong in 2022. That's not the frequency of 2022. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm looking for Wild Wolf Woman, the Russian name, but it's not showing up in my feed at all. That's why I'm wondering whether they've pulled themselves out. So, let's have a little look at Sappho and Neptune, Sappho and Sappho and Sappho and Neptune. Right, Sappho is at 21 degrees and Neptune is at 20. So they've kind of been in a conjunction, but they're still within an orb. It's a green circle with a bee in it. I didn't. Have you dealt with them, Penelope? Oh, you removed them. Cool. Hooray! For the beautiful Penelope. May Hades find you soon. Right, so Neptune, Neptune and Sappho. Yeah, we don't want any of that bollocks. I'm not going to have that as a card because I said no any of that bollocks at the time. That was wrong. See, look, you sacrificed her. You put her on an altar of shame and you axed her. Right. Here we go. Neptune, the old mucker. Oh, let's give him a bell. Let's give him a proper bell. Oh, that was so gentle. So gentle. So beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Right, Neptune. Neptune, what are you doing? Neptune, what are you doing? I'm having them. There's one over there on the floor which I can't reach. Difficult getting back in this. I have to be a bit careful. Close back up on you. Right, the first two cards, Ancient Ones and Child. It's really interesting. I'm getting a very patronizing energy from this. I mean, the child of Neptune is Triton. Well, and a few other things. Oh, you see, look. Detour. Really interesting. Now let's get Sappho. 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 Oh. So, Sappho, Earth, child of Earth. She's human, remember? And seer. Seer, though, coming across as muse. Yes, the child did pop up earlier and jump back in the deck. And Andean Cross. This is the energy of creativity. This is the energy of poetry. This is the energy of, remember the poetry was sung. I'm getting the energy of an old ancestral tune that has diverted us from a truth. It's an energy we're getting a lot at the moment, that it's time to release old ancestral stories. So this feels like this whole period as we move into 2022, is bringing us through these planetary music of the spheres energies the chance to step out or step forwards of an imprisoned frequency, an imprisoned tune that has held back, I guess, the energy of all of us, of all of our truths. It's like this is like a new musical seduction. But what I'm not understanding is whether this is a musical seduction from Sappho, who was this amazing poet, or whether it's from Neptune as an ancestral change, an ancestral detour, or a retour, putting us back in the pathway of the earth, whether this was old and this is new, or whether it's a frequency from beyond the music of the spheres. I need to know. It's just that this is something higher. This is something coming in. I mean, if you're going to have a divine detour, why not have the divine below it? Like being brought back into no, I don't want to say the truth, being brought back into the intended pathway. Let's go with the off. It is time for a new song. Yes, exactly, Ali. It's time for the B-side on everyone's record. Turn ourselves over. There's a whole other tune on the back. Right, I'm seeing spirit energies floating around. I've just seen smoky vapor go around and come around. I don't know who it is. Happy New Year, Wassail Scottish lass. Wassail Deborah Jane, Wassail Richard Guy. Neptune, it's interesting. This is about energies being vast, being spread, being, in different directions. Retuning, allowing the space to retune. Sappho and Neptune are retuning the soul. Strength, it is lust, but there's something about soothing an ulcer, and the ulcer seems to be the prison that our ancestral frequencies have held us in. We're stepping out of the ancestral frequencies somehow. Is Patrick here? Wassail, Patrick, if you're here. Are you here? There he is. Happy New Year, Patrick. And then we have 4 cups. So this is, let's hold it that way. This has got this sense of sacredness. This has got this retuning. All of the energies here from Neptune and Sappho is retuning, bringing a new energy to our sacral. This is a real retuning few months. This energy of this wish card of Jupiter being there is definitely bringing something new. What else? He's bringing something new. What else? I say he's bringing something new again because the first card that fell out was a new beginning. The Fool. And the Two of Pentacles, Jackie's favourite card. Change, transformation, everything being removed, everything being... There's something again about this kind of Ophiuchus energy, Asclepius, god of medicine and love. Beautiful, beautiful energies coming from them. Absolutely gorgeous. Neptune and Sappho, retuning the soul, bringing a new love frequency. Yes, neat. Thanks. I did get in touch with Corey because I've got a little project for him. I've got an artist who's been creating some images that feel very much like they need to be some kind of starseed deck. And I thought Corey would be the one to have a little mind percolation on it. So let's just do, let me check the time. I've got enough time, I think, if we just do it in a quickness. To just kind of look at another area, but I need to know, I'm going to have a look at me. I want to go back to the stellium. Actually, there's another energy I want to look at. I want to go to the 3rd of March, 5th, 6th, can't remember the date. It's when we get the triple conjunction, Mars, Pluto, and Venus. I think that's going to be really interesting because it's just around the point when she's coming back for her last little moment, and I feel like she leaves with Mars, but I don't know. So let's do that. I'm just giving them a shuffle. I think we're yeah, I don't know whether Venus and Pluto are kissing because Mars is back. So it's a beautiful yellow butterfly there. Let's just ask. Let's just ask. An energy card, please, for Pluto. No. Yeah, Pluto. 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 Oh, he's got such a soft energy. Pluto, upper world. I feel like Pluto's in a divine spot. Oh, Pluto's also, hang on a minute. Pluto's also in front of a fixed star. Terebellum. Terebellum, strength and power, rise in life, riches, cunning, and disgrace. Just as a little throw-in energy there. So this fixed star, Terebellum, is very fortunate when Venus is there. That adds something new. So let's ask. We're going to put one for Pluto, one for Venus, one for Mars, and then one on each of them for how Terabellum is affecting them. So, Venus. No, there's not. Oi, oi, oi. Sappho is two Venus signs next to each other. Right, there's a cold air. There's a cold air about Venus. Venus is not in the best place. Oh, look, there's a cold air. That's so interesting. This is all air energy, upper world frequency. There's something about the energy there. Bearing in mind, we feel like Venus has always had a bit of a thing for Hades because he's got a load of wealth and she loves the wealth, but she's blowing cold. She's blowing, she's whisking past. It's probably got something to do with Terabellum, Mars. Oh, Mars has got it's a bit shouty. I'm putting them back. We're not having 10 cards. Now, what I want to say about Mars is Mars has been the rogue agent. He is feeling her retrograde at the moment, but we're talking about when she's gone all the way back down, turned back round, and she's coming back for the last call-in, which is around the 3rd, 4th, or the 5th. And it's a triple conjunction. So she's done forwards and backwards. She's gone past him. She's going right the way back through Capricorn now. In a bad mood. But Mars is coming. And Mars, just a couple of days after, enters the 6th of March, enters Aquarius. And that's when Mars finally catches up with the stellium tear that took place in February last year. So Mars is transforming. So Mars. So very strange energy. He's the divine hunter. He's seeking his power, regenerative power. And it's like they're made for each other. Venus and Mars. Currently, I remember last year in Portugal, we did a reading which was the rumba or the bossa nova or something between Mercury, Mars, and Venus, and she kept catching up with him and going, psst, psst, Mars, this is the new songbook, this is the hymn sheet, you're not singing from the same one. He's like, I'm not listening, I'm just doing a fiery thing, and he was off. But you know, you were made for me. It's 369. This is divine. And he's separate. But look, he's happy with Persephone. So, it's like a turnaround comes. When they all pass in front of Pluto, there's a little bit of a kind of square off. But ultimately, Mars is going back to becoming... Okay, so there's an interesting thing. In ancient Rome, war was always carried out between the periods of the calends of March and the calends of October. So that's the 1st of March and the 1st of October. Now, on the 1st of March, all soldiers had a ceremony that pulled down the energy of Mars to live within the soldier, so that they can embody the energy of the god of war. And then on the 1st of October, my birthday, that's when they do a ceremony to release the energy of the god of war and to become less angry, less harsh, because you can't have soldiers living in the city of Rome if they're still engaged with the warlike aggression of Mars. And so this is very much like, yeah, it's the wrong time of year in terms of it being the 1st of March, becoming more warlike. But there's something about this frequency of Mars having the bear, the power, and the energy on the other side of being the gentle, the lover of Aphrodite, of Venus. So I feel when you look at this, you can't tell me that they're with him. They are Aphrodite, Venus and Mars together. So Terebellum, this fixed star, what's it bringing? I feel good. Doobie 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 doop. I don't like that song. But it just came through. You see, I always associate it with wife beater energy. But who can say what Mars and Aphrodite and Venus got up to? No, Mars doesn't want Persephone. No, it's Venus wants Hades. It was always the case, Ali. We seem to have discovered. Venus always wanted Hades because Venus is a gold digger. She loves to be the richest boy in town. And so she sent her son Eros to shoot him with an arrow. And when he came out, instead of seeing Venus, he saw Persephone and fell in love with Persephone. And Persephone fell in love with him because her mother, Ceres, wouldn't let her marry anyone. She didn't want her to go anywhere. She was being manipulative. And so she ran off with Hades. And then Ceres got so angry that she couldn't find her daughter that she stopped all cropping. Oh, it's one on my ankle. I just needed it to come off my ankle. An ant. And so then Jupiter had to come in and do a deal with Hades, his brother, to say you're going to have to give Persephone back to her mum for 6 months of the year because she's killing everyone. Very complicated. But Mars is not, Mars definitely, I don't feel that energy at all. Wassail, Aleister. I don't feel the energy of Mars wanting Persephone. Look, it's so interesting. What is the frequency that Terebellum is bringing in its conjunction to Pluto? Elven light. Lifruma. Who knew? That's that energy. That may just as well have been the energy of love. Wassail Mate, Wassail Ali Right, Wassail Rebel Scum, Rebel Scum. So, what's Terebellum bringing to Venus? Bearing in mind that Venus is a very fortunate energy, opening of the senses. That's very interesting, just on a personal level. 63 and 68 of the years myself and my brother were born. An opening of like a kind of, there's a frequency coming with this owl of a kind of taming of the wind. That tempestuous energy of Venus being clicked back out by being in Terebellum territory. Like she can't see the wood for trees. She can't see Mars for looking because all she's only got eyes for what she sees as, Hades, but Hades is in the light. So what's Mars's energy with Terebellum? Well, Mars has got 3 and is complicated. Right, so let's put the cards back under there so they don't blow away. Right. So, thy earthly power. This is, it's really interesting just on these 3 cards. not all runes have dots. They come from a different. His power on the earth is war, god of war. That's the power. And the energy that Terabellum gives Mars is the ability to break free. Etbursten. The Etbursten card is often associated with an energy of narcissism. But I want to say that this is a narcissism in its truest form of loving the self too much, bursting out of his powerful soldier frequency to kind of take flight, to have this perv frequency, to open up and to see Venus again as some kind of yes, you know, he wants to rekindle a relationship with Venus. It feels very much like because I'm getting this sense of air here and air here. But the hunter frequency of Mars is earthbound. It's like this earthly power doesn't exist anymore. Mars has been zooming around the cosmos, the solar system, still singing this old tune. And when it reaches Aquarius, it can Etbursten. It can burst out of this old energy, and turn round to face the wind that's coming in. At the moment, it's the bear looking at the wind, but we need to get this softer energy of Mars, the lover Mars, to come back into the frame and to have a cosmic surge, as in to transform into air frequency. That's the energy. Venus and Mars sitting in a tree, Kissing. So Pluto, Hades, has got something else going down. I don't know whether I want to ask about that, but I'm going to have to, aren't I? Because this is a big time of year for Pluto. Also because Pluto's been sextiling Neptune for a while, and I feel like that energy is going to be quite key for a while still, with this incoming conjunction of Neptune and Jupiter, because the last time it was in Pisces was in 1854, and before that 1690. So there's relevant things in history that will come back. So Pluto, what are you up to? What are you up to, Pluto? What are you up to, Pluto? Oh, look. You have to get off me, ants. It's as simple as that. You can't climb on me, and I don't want to keep treading on you. It's doing his own thing. Pluto is doing his own cosmic surge. So, let's get Lenormand. What's Pluto's own thing about? Right. It's about simple pleasures. It's about being in his own frequency. It's about being kind of ignoring what's going on around. You know, I do feel that there was that energy with Venus and Mercury playing him, but he's on his swing. He's in a different zone. And it's got garden. Garden is networking. This is kind of social media energy. But what I'm getting from this card is the whole world is Pluto's. In Pluto's mind right now, nothing matters other than the world of Pluto. And what's Pluto's mind fixed on? Persephone. It's on a different frequency. He's not interested in all the other stuff. He's happy in his own garden, in his own world. It's interesting. It's 13, 20, and 29. So you've got that energy of the earth grid and flowing within his own earth grid frequency. And they're in love. He's happy with his wife. He's not wanting to do all this. I'm only in black because it's my only vest. I've got three, but the other two just show sweaty drippingness. So this black one hides the fact that I'm completely damp. No audio. I might have not been saying anything. Right. Look, all of this energy, I'm not going to do any more cards with this, but this is just energy of Hades being in love with Persephone. You know, his heart, his flowers, the world, that's what this is to him. So, look, Pluto's quite happy in his own little world with his wife. Okay? And Venus needs to get her act together, stop gold digging, and she needs to see that she can't go in breaking up someone that's happy because he's in love with his wife. And Mars, her old lover, is back, and he genuinely is going through a transformation from his earthbound frequency to his airbound frequency. I'm not saying you need to go out and let dodgy geezers back into your lives. I'm just saying that's what the music of the spheres is doing. The tunes that they play with each other. So, do we have any questions astrologically that we might have a little look into? I'm going to have a drink and I have a little swing like Hades on his little swing. Oh, that's runes. Oh, that is runes. Bye-bye, Etimosa. Etimosa, just before you go, I just want to say, keep thinking of me coming to Quebec for them their maple trees. So, I have a little swing, I have a little drink of water. Going to the beach tomorrow for New Year's Day. Gonna get him with Neptune. Gonna have babies with him. I've got my other water. This one's chilled. That's better. Right. Oh, good. I'm coming. I'm absolutely coming. All the rules are changing. Maple trees and maple syrup. Can you ask about Venus? Star point. Is it star point? Moving into Capricorn. Well, Venus is already in Capricorn, tropically speaking, and she's been there since early December, and she's gone, in that reading, gone forwards and backwards in front of Pluto, with Mercury winding everybody up, but it looks like it's all failing. And at the moment, she's retrograding all the way back through Capricorn. Oh, I'm glad you're going to the beach too. Which star point do you mean? Sorry, I'm not quite understanding. Oh, the five-pointed star, the rotation. I can just say, what's the energy of the five-pointed star of Venus bringing? Right, I would say it's a gathering energy of kind of divinity. You're talking about, aren't you, the circling that it does that creates the five-pointed star returning into Capricorn. So you've got Holy Mountain, you've got the gathering, and you've got the mystical shaman. So there's an energy of a gathering frequency of, there's something about an energy of breath. When it's minus 28, is it damp cold or dry cold? There's something about breath. I need to understand that a bit better. So I'm going to pull up the alchemy and see what we get. Just wave into my host. Bones. Yeah, dry cold's all right. I did dry cold at the Arctic Circle in Sweden. Oh, we haven't seen Gustav today. Yes, Nicola Codlin. I'm coming to Canada. Every Canadian has to make a pathway for me there so that I can get in. So, oh, look, we've got Hermea. This is a door to the soul, and this is a door to the soul. But what I don't understand still is the breath part. this is about birthing creativity, but this is also, Haumea is a Hawaiian creation goddess who births all kinds of children from parts of the body, like the lips. Oh, that's what it's to do with. That's the mouth part. It's there's some kind of new creativity that's being voiced. So Haumea, every time Haumea births, Haumea dies and is reborn. And there's a sense of the door to the soul to open your true essence. Wasp, you can't join me. It's too much right now. Oh, it's climbing on my back. So there's this beautiful word, fecundity, that's to do with being very full of things that can come from you, to be abundant. So it's bringing a new abundance is what I'm getting. They are frisky, these ants, but they're also stupid, unfortunately. I mean, there are less of them. They are leaving. But they keep trying to go up my legs. I don't like that. So we have calcify, which is to coat and to age. So it feels like the energy of the old has now reached a point where it can't serve. It's created such a like a patina or like a verdigris. Verdigris, because Venus is copper. And so it's almost like the energy has to shift. The breath, the frequency has to move. It's like the Haumea frequency. This is the blocked energy, and it has to birth anew. It has to transform. It has to go up the holy mountain. There's something to do with Cape Town. And we've got solar eclipse. Solar eclipse is a galactic opportunity. I want to say that this feels very much like Kwa now, because it's a mystical shaman, but it's the mystical shaman in a galactic frequency, a cosmic shaman, which is different to an earth shaman. So this is, and Kwa is in Capricorn at 6 degrees. So there's something about an opportunity of this to recreate, because Kwa sings, oh, it's all about, that's what it is. It's Kwa singing a new frequency into existence. So, nice to go and see the trees on New Year's Day and get off my ankle. All those cards nearly all fell out then. Yet I really think that this year, 2022, is a much bigger starting frequency than we've ever known before. Very many things are shifting, stuff's changing, and we've been in 2 years of, mental strain. And that's interesting because during this time last year was when we mutated to air energy, and that's all to do with mental. And so when the energy changes and the frequency of air and thoughts becomes the dominant frequency, it's a little bit tricky at first. I'm just observing how all around here, there's no air. I've mentioned the great mutation to air. Every single tree has stopped moving. There's not even a whiff of a breath of movement on any of it. Even that behind, that's usually really susceptible. This palm tree. So I've just shuffled again and Kwa is back out. It's a very important energy, Kwa. I'm going to read you Kwa's, the lovely description of Kwa in the cards that I've been working on, because it's a lovely. So Kwa is the Tongva singer of creation. Kwa sings within the chaos before time to sound the universe into existence. Chaos vibrates and gets excited to materialize form. First, Waywat, god of the sky, was sung into being, as Chenuit, goddess of the earth, resonated underneath the vocal canopy. With 3 vocal harmonies, the symphony called forth Tamit and Moi, the sun and the moon. This quintet then amplified the frequencies to form the plants, animals, people, along with the planets and stars, setting the music of the spheres into divine motion. Song of the sacredness of life, surrender to the natural forces of life, the harmonious revolution of spirit, but also the cost of bliss, the painful price offered to know blissfulness. So what are you willing to offer for bliss? That might be a really good question to ask yourselves over Christmas, over New Year. What are you willing to sacrifice in your life to reach blissfulness? What tradition does it come from? The Tongva tribe in the United States of America. The Tongva. Tongva. Yeah, that's it. Tongva. I like it because it's a kind of galactic shaman frequency, cosmic shaman, but it's about a god who is formless and is genderless. This is a frequency like an Om that begins the creation of all things physical, and then pushes the energy through, creates the sky, creates the earth, creates the sun and the moon, and together they create everything. Then Kwa just goes, see you later, and vanishes. So I love it as a story. It's also, it feels really beautiful within the deck because there are sound healing cards within this Alchemy of Astrology deck that's been developed, and it feels like a magical moment. It's put one of the asteroids on par with the Mary the Jewess frequency and the Philosopher's Stone, because without Kwa in that tradition, nothing becomes. Yeah, I think you're right, Parry. Blissfulness is worth doing everything that you can do because it is a beautiful energy. Are they from California? Is that what you're saying, Rebel Scum? The Tongva of Los Angeles. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'm just staring at your own conversations, but I wanted to say, in terms of what are you willing to give up for bliss? And it is a very difficult and rocky pathway. You know, 4 or 5 years ago, I gave up my company that I had. I gave up my house. I sold it. I took all the items that I owned that I'd accumulated over my life, and I just gave them all away. And then I set off on this journey. And I went through France and Portugal and then came to here because it was difficult to move places because of the pandemic. And then when I left Portugal, I had my suitcase. And again, my suitcase felt that it was too heavy and big. So I gave away 2/3 of all the things within my suitcase. So for me personally, I've given up almost everything I have. You know, in many ways, there's a sense of spirit laughing within my head, but I've even given up my entire family to become an orphan, or at least someone that has no actual family anymore, so that I can move on in my journey and find what will be my blissfulness. What will be my blissfulness? Well, at the moment, that's what I say to Jupiter and Neptune and my family in spirit, are the wishes of me moving, as I said at the beginning, one dimension closer to my blissfulness. And it has been a long journey. And I was having a chat with a friend who's only recently kind of begun to have her personal epiphanies. And I said that, you know, mine really began 4 years ago, but then also the really difficult ones were the loss of my parents. And yes, thank you, Penelope. And dealing with that and learning to just whatever energy comes towards me, adapt. I think that's the message that we've all been trying to receive during the last few years, is adapt. Whatever comes to you, adapt. Also, don't allow anything to trigger you. Don't allow anger to rise up, because it's futile. We're living in a different frequency now. We're not living in, and as we've just done in that reading, even Mars's energy is going through a little bit of a transition at the moment. It doesn't mean that Mars won't return to that kind of Earth frequency anger, but there's something about how all planets, all energies have motions when they're particularly high in one frequency, and then the other frequency sometimes catches up, and together they meet, and then they pass. And at different points, there's different energies. You know, you might feel more Eris. Eris isn't always just simply sacred rage. I'm going to read Eris to you because Eris in the cards now has a really beautiful energy. So Eris is sacred rage. Eris is also challenges, but Eris is the rebel woman. Eris is the raw feminine disruptor. She's chaotic creation. She's strife and she's the agitator. But so she becomes the moral compass. She becomes your internal moral compass. So when you look at Chariclo being the graceful enforcer of boundaries, which we're all working with at the moment, this Chariclo energy of trying to enforce our own boundaries and our own red lines in the sand. Eris is the energy that takes other people's red lines that confine us and she removes them. So it's a really beautiful energy to have, the disruptor energy, when you disrupt other people's plans to remind them that they don't have the right to hem you in. You know, we choose when we hem ourselves in. We don't hand that power to other people. And that's part of journey and energy that I'm understanding as I move through wherever I'm traveling at the moment. So Chariclo herself, she becomes the graceful enforcer of boundaries, spirit medicine, shamanic law, health, and she represents awakenings through illness. So this energy that you might have an illness that brings you to a sort of near-death experience that creates a spiritual awakening. So not necessarily the spiritual awakenings that other people will necessarily have, but a spiritual awakening through illness. And she's also pathways. I like Charity. Also very interesting because although she's a wife, consort, energy of Chiron, she's a centaur who is also a water nymph. And so she has shape-shifting abilities. She can switch between the two. So I just thought I'd pull her a little bit nearer so that I can read your comments and I can swing lightly. Oh, Cosmic Owl, it's a difficult energy, but you know, I would say that it's an energy that that we all have to face, and it's a very sacred energy. The death of a parent. You're oh look, there's a hummingbird's appeared for you right now. It's a very beautiful sacred journey that you get to go on with your parent. But it's incredible what you can learn if you allow a kind of it's difficult to say, but because it's not always a word that people always understand, but there is an energy where you can over grieve, you can over dramatize death of someone that you love, and actually there's a need for an honesty because you can't hold grief and pain every day. You really can't. You have to be much more you have to be much more free, to be honest. My parents obviously died very close together, and it was suddenly being alone. And the important thing was to be honest with myself. I didn't need to cry every day. And that becomes this energy of a pantomime. And what I accept that my parents are dead, but there are days when their energy returns and genuine stress and grief will return. And those are the moments to really embrace that energy, because parents don't want you to be miserable. And they certainly don't want you to be miserable because they've reached their natural physical life ending, because that is life. Oh, Wassail, Sheila, Shalach. Yeah, it is very, very spiritual. I was very sad that because of pandemic, I wasn't able to see my mother for over a year because you weren't allowed into the homes. And on my parents' 60th wedding anniversary, they weren't allowed to see, my father wasn't allowed to see my mother. That was very painful. And at the time that you weren't allowed funerals. It was all very dark energy, and it's an energy that you can either engage with and be angry about, or you can just accept that that's the time and allow those moments to come up as grief when they come up, but being furious. You know, we've recently had stories in the UK when everyone was in lockdown, and in that period when I couldn't go and see my parents, there was nothing. I might have to bring the microphone nearer. Just hold this round slightly. So when I couldn't see my parents, you know, there were many people in government having parties, which we weren't allowed to do. We weren't allowed to have that. Now, it never kind of dawned on me that I should be angry about that, because the anger would only hurt me. And a lot of the time, people are coming forwards who have huge anger because, like me, they weren't allowed to see parents die. But there's a lesson in that I might not fully understand now, that will become an understanding or a growth frequency. Yeah, Penelope, it's interesting. I couldn't care for my mum because I don't have the skills to look after someone with dementia, and the only fair thing to do was to have professionals to look after her. But I did keep bumping into people who kept saying to me, "Isn't it a shame that your parents didn't have a daughter who could look after them when they were old?" And I'm like, why should a daughter, have to give up whatever their life was? It's just very odd what comes out from people. Yeah, that's absolutely true, Esther. Knowing that they're reunited, I felt like it was very interesting. My father was hanging on for a couple of months, and then astrologically, I felt as though my mother just came down and said, "Come on, it's time," because his departure was very sudden. I don't know whether this book's helping. Well, knock the microphone over now. So I hope you can still hear, but maybe with the saw, we should say goodbye and wish everyone a happy new year. And I will see you probably on the 2nd. I do want to do the ones that didn't come through, that got broken. I want to do the story about Jupiter in Pisces and the frequency that's coming. Yeah, it's very difficult. Dementia is such an ugly, uncomfortable, and appalling illness as it takes over the person. It's really very difficult. So, everybody, have a wonderful new year. And I just want to repeat this message again just at the end, which is try and talk with Neptune and Jupiter every night before sleep so that you can start to dimension hop and go into new frequencies and experience coming into a world that's closer each night, each astral dream, each awakening that you have each morning, closer to the dreams, because Neptune and Jupiter right now will bring you your dreams. I'm not going to dash for a minute because Wassail Matthew, because I feel that you're all having quite an important conversation. And actually, just before I go, and it's a 2-2-2-2 at the moment, 5 2s. Sheila, I've been kind of giving people who have been moderating a little reading to say thank you, and I haven't done yours. So I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, just give you a couple of cards. So, Sheila. What's going on with Sheila? What's going on with Sheila? Sheila. No, it's not bringing the vibe down. You need to discuss these things. You can talk, and I'm just going to give Sheila a little bit of magic. You got 2 cards on the floor, Sheila. You've also got an ant on the keyboard. Don't know how it's got all the way up there. They're obviously climbing the tree trunk. They're probably making a nest in it. Didn't think about that. There's lots of little holes. Maybe they think it's somewhere to live. I want to say that there's a new light coming out from within you. 2 cards and an ant, exactly. It's really collective energy, though, Sheila. I don't mean a collective energy for everyone else. It's your energy, but reaching out to the collective. You've gone through some kind of transformation. You've shed a skin. You shed skin. I didn't even bloody recognize you. We don't talk about death enough. It's super important. From the moment we're born, we're dying. It's inevitable, and we mustn't fear it. So you've shed a skin and changed your look. And you've got this frequency of reaching out to many people. Maybe it's with your new radio blog. Is it a blog? No, it's a podcast, isn't it? You can type it in now. It's a sore point. You can type in the place for your spiritual journeys that you're offering people. Look, the thing is, I'm getting this. You're reaching out to many people in many pathways, and you are bringing light back. That's the thing. Yeah, you're starting a YouTube. You need to do it. Is it not started already? Because that's what this energy is. Look, don't start it yet. Start it tomorrow because it's 2022, Sheila. It needs to be in a new vibe. I want to say I feel like you need to have some kind of elder item. Elder, not older. Elder as in the wood. Because I just need to find it. I've picked up the wrong deck. Let's see if we can find it quick. I have a little swing. Just keep talking about death, people. Sheila and I are just sorting something out. There's a good few videos on death in my playlists. There's a lovely Memento Mori one. There's ones where my dog came back and talked about how to deal with death. So there's a whole playlist on death because I seal the store of death. I'm just wanting to bring this up because this card always comes out, and I always mention you, Sheila. You're always not there when I bring this. This is Wickercraft, and I'm sure you remember doing your Runewrecker reading on this, and it's always had this energy of elder magic. Oh yeah, that Mabel video is really wonderful. She was amazing when she came back and talked about death. Yeah, this is I call this the Sheila card. Well, look, if it's the only thing published on Sheila's channel, it's worth going to see this card because it for me, it was a really beautiful reading. I really, really enjoyed it, Sheila. So anyway, we come back from that. I'm getting a little bit of Odin because I was about your channel. Oh, there's a really big, beautiful bird skipping along the edge. It's like a big fat chaffinch. Giant, come over here. Show everyone over here. Come on round over here, you. You're rebirthing something. You're in the motion of attachment to the cosmic ocean. Come on, Divine Virgo Empress. Get your act together. That's spirit knocking on the door. It's a noisy end to the year. That's what it is. Right, come on. I need some more for Sheila. Oh, look. That was a spillage then, but I'm looking at them. They're beautiful cards. So you have Yggdrasil. So you've got this powerful energy of, again, it's coming across as collective. It's coming across of sort of slipping in and out shamanically throughout the different dimensions in the Yggdrasil tree. And then you've got this power of Gethen. This energy came up earlier. This is under many paths because it's an understanding that everybody has their own path. You know, we can't at any point, we can't say to someone else that their pathway is wrong because there's many paths and their pathway is theirs. We can just shine our own pathways and hopefully people might catch and walk with our pathway for a bit, but at some point they have to journey on their own pathway. And you've got Aval. This is birthright. This is you're birthing something. So look, you're in the elementary canal of the cosmic ocean, the lagoon, and you're moving into this really powerful, truthful life force energy to bring something out. I need to give you look, your Wickercraft cards trying to get back in the action. Who's having a birthday? Yeah, you've got to do these YouTubings. It's everyone building their new dreams. It's the Mjolnir. So, what else for Sheila? Just to give Sheila... Oh, that's interesting. Right, look. There's two that are hidden. These feel like the energies, perhaps, that you haven't quite associated yourself with. Moon in Taurus. The Moon in Taurus is coming across not necessarily as the sensual nights, but the frequency of the 30th of April, the lunar eclipse. And then you've got Phallus, the law of unintended consequences, magical awakenings, radical shifts. This is interesting. There is softly instinctual, and by that I mean bringing an energy that's not sort of the wild wolf-like frequency, but bringing something that's much more tantrically sophisticated. So that, again, that energy of reaching through Yggdrasil tree, but also reaching through personal Yggdrasil trees. It's all about your channel. So down here on the floor, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in a group. So I want to remove, this is a frequency of retrograding, to take to sort of reach out into people's primal wounds, to reach out and to soothe the primal wounds. This is Chiron energy, it's the nervous system. So you've actually got Chiron and Phallus, and Chiron and Phallus are interesting because Phallus invites Heracles in, and he opens a special bottle of wine that was left for Heracles when he arrives. So he digs it out of the ground, and when they open it, all the other see, look, that's interesting. All of the other, where is it? All of the other centaurs that are not tantrically sophisticated all come rushing in, and Heracles has to kill them all. And then accidentally, while tidying up, because he's so hospitable, Phallus drops one of the arrows in his feet and the poison of the Hydra kills him. But some of the stories say that it's the wound that is inflicted upon Chiron, and because Chiron's immortal and can't die, is that so there's something about this energy of the two centaurs. I want to say bringing the energy of two endings, which is interesting because Phallus has the frequency of two endings. Like there's more than one possibility. And then you've got thought editing, air, and you've got the sun. I feel like that's what you're doing. You're editing, helping, assisting a change in people to bring back happiness. So that's it. Hey, what's up, Rob? Paper clips are all you need. I keep seeing paper clips all the time on things at the moment. It's very weird. I was reading an article about all the things that were invented by Quar, and it said he invented paper clips. I don't know why. I have to say, I much prefer a paper clip to a staple. Staples seem vicious. I like the machinery of a staple, but I don't like staples. You pull them out, and then what do you do with them? They're little tiny, annoying bits of metal. So I need another little drinky of water. It's a pleasure, Sheila. Wassail, Rob. Happy New Year. I don't know why in this particular lighting today, but I don't seem to have a tan. And I am. If I look at me, I'm tanned. But I look a little bit like I've lost my tan. Oh, yeah. That's not nice when those staples go on his fingernails. It's not good energy. Yeah, they're not good. They're not good staples. So I'm just going to end with an energy for you to all I know. An energy to end for you to bring in the new year with. What's coming in, people, just generally as we leave today, because it's already 2022. Oh, I'm so happy with that. Elfamir. Elven ring frequency. That's just beautiful. I'm going to push it and just get one from you. Because, you know, obviously, I want Kate Blanchett to turn up, the council. Yeah, we needed a little reminder to bring in the elves. Because the elves are going to work with us. That elven ring is our protective energy. That's that higher threads that we got earlier of consciousness. And now it's given me the space that higher thread comes through. Heart of sky. We are all part of the elven ring. The elven ring with its thread of consciousness comes down through the heart of sky and connects to us. But in the elven ring, we are all represented in that higher dimensional frequency of singular mind, single voice, billions, trillions of souls. So that's a lovely energy. Yeah, I guess it could be a little bit Kate Blanchett. It looks like its head to be Kate Blanchett. Oh, girl from foot, Anne. I've got an unstable connection, so I think that's telling me it's time to go. So have a beautiful evening if it hasn't already become New Year for you. but in many places it is 2022. So have a beautiful new year. I'm going swimming tomorrow. See you on the 2nd for the series 9 of Cups, Jupiter in Pisces.